here. In fact, actually some streaming news that I meant to share with you before we finish up. First of all, we talked about A Different World last week. Twisted Metal has been renewed for a third season. This is some streaming news. It's kind of crazy, Rachel. I don't really think it's your kind of thing. I don't really think you'd enjoy it at all. But people like Gustavo and me, for some reason, really, really dig it because it's funny and it doesn't take itself seriously. But maybe you would like it.
Did you hear, though, that the All's Fair got renewed for season 2?
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. All's Fair, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We don't deserve nice things.
The Kim Kardashian legal drama has been renewed for a second season.
Shut up.
Yeah. We're going to get Eva Green in Wednesday Season 3 playing Aunt Ophelia. That news dropped this week. And we're going to get an Assassin's Creed series starring Toby Wallace. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Rachel, thanks for sitting in. Thanks back at the studio to Corey, Gustavo, and Stone here on set with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. This is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. A Utah father who reportedly forced his kids to scale a mountain in Big Cottonwood Canyon just as a storm rolled in, now facing charges for child abuse.
A father takes kids out for a hike, it gets cold, they get in a little bit of trouble. How is that child abuse? But when you look at the conduct that occurred here and the fact that it was pretty obvious that they were in trouble.
The time is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, November 26th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, where's the legal line between tough parenting and child abuse? We'll get insights from KSL's legal analyst. Also this hour,
I think it's a slap in the face.
Utahns reacting today to news that the military could cut ties with scouting for attacking boy-friendly spaces. But first, our top stories in breaking news. We are hearing that 2 National Guard members have been shot near the White House. The Associated Press says their condition is not yet known, and we don't know how or why they were shot. Police are currently securing the scene. We'll continue to follow this story, and we'll bring you updates the moment we have them. Our top local story this hour, the father who took his 3 young kids on a treacherous hike in Big Cottonwood Canyon last month that led to them being stuck on the mountain overnight is now being charged with child torture and aggravated child abuse. Court documents say 32-year-old Micah Smith ignored the safety of his children when he forced them to go on a 9-mile hike as a winter storm rolled in. The 2- and 4-year-old boys were rescued in critical condition, and the 8-year-old daughter was stable. We'll go in depth on that story in just a few minutes. Taking a look at your money at this moment, another great day for the markets. The Dow right now up by 389 points, sitting at 47,501. S&P up by 60 points, and the NASDAQ up by 230 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Right now, we have a nice and quiet drive on your Salt Lake County freeways, but a completely different story for southbound I-15 in Utah County. We had earlier crashes in the Payson area. We also had a long stretch of delay yesterday for the Thanksgiving getaway, and that's exactly what we're seeing again right now. Southbound I-15 jammed up and slow as you go from Benjamin almost to Santaquin. Odyssey Dance Theater's Christmas Spectacular, starring David Osmond. Fill your heart with the Christmas spirit this year. Visit odysseydance.com for tickets. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high 52 degrees, up to 56 for Thanksgiving Day, and dry both days. 20% chance of showers on Friday, and then the chance of showers diminishing on Saturday down to 10%, but a 40% chance on Sunday. 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma.
She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
She was the most luxurious ship of her time, a grand symbol of hope and elegance. No other story has captured our hearts quite like hers. Book your passage now for Titanic, the exhibition, at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Walk through stunning recreations of Titanic staterooms, stand at the steps of the iconic Grand Staircase, and connect with unforgettable stories of passengers and crew. For a limited time in Sandy, secure passage at thetitanicexhibition.com. thetitanicexhibition.com.
Do you remember what was happening in America? Families struggling, billions in wasteful spending. But Senator Mike Lee fought back. He voted for working family tax cuts, and Senator Lee voted to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse, saving taxpayers billions. So call Senator Mike Lee at 202-224-5444 and thank him for supporting the Working Families Tax Cut, paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
We are continuing to follow breaking news. I'm Maria Shilaos. This is Midday. 2 National Guard members have been shot near the White House, and police are currently securing the scene, but we are hearing that a suspect is in custody. Let's go now live to News Nation's coverage.
Who is in Mar-a-Lago, that the White House is aware and actively monitoring this tragic situation, the White House press secretary says, and the president has been briefed. So again, the president is not at the White House, but we do know that my colleagues, my producer and my photographer, who are still on campus at the White House, were moved into the White House press briefing room. And that's when my photog called me and said, Kelly, we've been moved into the briefing room. I tried to walk back, and I was not able to get back to them because I'm currently behind yellow tape and watching the constant stream of vehicles going back. I see ambulances closer up towards the Farragut North area. That is where this is said to happen. That's about 2 blocks from the White House. So the entire proximity around the White House in lockdown. But again, the president is not here in the building. He is in Florida.
D.C. Metro, as I said a moment ago, Kelly, adding to that with the scene being secured and 1 suspect in custody. So go back in time, if you can, to where, so you're out off the White House grounds, making your way back. You report on the North Lawn there, Pebble Beach, as they call it. That's just right off of Pennsylvania Avenue on the north side of the White House. So you're walking back. Did you hear anything? Did you see anything? Had something already happened at that point, or?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's when it was all unfolding. I'm not sure exactly how it all played out. I do feel like when I walked outside, immediately when my photographer called me to come back, or to at least try to come back, and I was stopped by Secret Service, behind the tape was already up. But I do feel like I heard 1 gunshot further in the distance. I'm not sure what that was related to, but I know that there was a lot of activity and a lot of police that were saying, please stay back, don't go any further. And I just said, is everything okay? Can you tell me anything? Are we safe? And he said, I can't tell you right now. You'll find out soon, but you are safe. So it's certainly a scary situation, especially there ahead of this call, because I came over this way for lunch. There were a ton of people in this area for the Thanksgiving holiday, a lot of tourists in this specific area coming here with their families, a lot of kids around. It's completely cleared out right now. I don't see anybody around except for the man who's also stuck in here with me because we can't move. And we're just waiting for the all clear so I can get back to the camera. But right now, we are still stuck behind the tape. Vehicles are still moving in and out. There is Secret Service on each corner. And when I walked out, I saw Secret Service running in the direction north of where this happened. Can't get there at all.
Yeah, I was talking to Brent earlier about uniformed Secret Service. So this map that we just made, I just want to maybe actually, if you guys can take it off my tablet, I'm going to zoom in here and show people for perspective. United States Capitol, you see, and the White House, that's one side of Pennsylvania to the other. Where the shooting happened is in red there, 17th Street Northwest. So if we look, and this is a little bit of a zoom, you can see how close it is, right there. Just north of the White House, that's Lafayette Park. So if you were to go out, again, the north gate of the White House, right by where Blair House is and what have you, and cross the street, that's Lafayette Park, that green area, and there's the shooting. So it's basically 2 blocks, right, Kelly? Is it Connecticut and then I Street? It's just 2 blocks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely close. I get off at that metro stop at Farragut West. Right across the park is Farragut North. I think you have it all on your map there. And I get off at the metro there, walk about a block, and then you get to really where the barricades are already beginning to be set up right at the park, and you walk down one more block to the West Wing or to the White House entrance, and then head towards the Pebble Beach where we do our live shot. So incredibly close. I think that area is also blocked off. I can't tell from my vantage point, but I just know you could probably see where I am on the map. It's Pennsylvania and 17th. So going up 17th as you get closer to, I believe, what is that? K or I, there is a lot of police activity up in that area, and that seems to be where it is all happening.
They said it was that where the shooting apparently took place. That's the report we had, 17th and I. So again, just a couple of blocks from the White House. If you can stay with us, Kelly, and chat if you hear any more information. I just want to bring in Tracy Walder, News Nation national security contributors, also very familiar from her days at the FBI and CIA.
Okay, you were listening to live coverage from News Nation talking about a shooting in the nation's capital. This shooting happened just a couple of blocks from the White House. 2 National Guard members were shot. We are learning that police believe that they do have a suspect in custody. They are now securing the scene. And we should note that President Trump is not at the White House. He is at Mar-a-Lago. We will continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as we get them. We'll be back with more Midday in just 60 seconds.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the #1 concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
The father who reportedly forced his kids to scale a mountain in Big Cottonwood Canyon as a storm rolled in is now facing charges for child abuse. Charging documents released today paint a scary picture of children fighting for their lives out in the wilderness and a father who pushed them up Twin Peaks without regard for their safety. Joining me now live in studio with the story is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. So, Heather, what happened?
This is a long story, Maria, so buckle in. But the charging documents say that 32-year-old Micah Smith of South Jordan apparently got his kids some snacks, got them some shoes, and went on a 9-mile hike. And the conditions were said to be treacherous. It was very uphill, and even search and rescue crews, when they were doing this same hike, felt they couldn't continue because they didn't have enough safety gear and the skills to go up this mountain. So it was very treacherous. And as they were getting closer to the top, weather started rolling in. And the daughter, the 8-year-old daughter, even said multiple times that she was hungry, tired, feeling scared. She even said she worried about not living. All the kids were really not on board for this. It was an 8-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son, and a 2-year-old son. And so it was just a very dangerous situation. It starts snowing, hailing, raining. They start to go back down. The 2-year-old hits his head at one point, but they keep going. And the 4-year-old ends up becoming kind of non-responsive. They're just so cold out there. They end up making this little makeshift shelter, taking off their wet clothes in the shelter. And the 8-year-old said her dad taught her CPR, and they had to perform CPR on the 2-year-old after he hit his head. And the 4-year-old, they basically made it through the night by hugging each other for warmth, half clothed, and the dad was performing CPR on the 4-year-old every 5 minutes throughout the night just to survive, according to their 8-year-old daughter. So it's
an 8-year-old performing CPR. I mean, this is terrifying for a young child. So how were they rescued?
Yeah, it's insane. So they were reported as overdue hikers the next day, and so search and rescue crews started up this trail. They ended up finding the dad, Micah Smith, on the trail, and they said he was behaving oddly, and he didn't even seem concerned about his children. So they ended up going back up the trail, found the 4-year-old who appeared almost lifeless at the time, and the 2-year-old in critical need of medical treatment. So they took all 4 of them to the hospital, and when they got there, they said the 4-year-old's internal body temperature was 62 degrees. So the boys were in critical condition. The girl was stable, and the GoFundMe says Micah Smith had 3rd-degree frostbite as well. So just absolutely insane.
Okay, so now the father is facing 3 charges of child torture, 3 charges of aggravated child abuse. So how did they decide to file these kinds of charges against the father?
Yeah, I talked to KSL legal analyst Greg Skortis about this because I wanted to know where's the line between something like negligence or endangerment versus abuse and torture. And here's what he had to tell me.
You know, when you read the probable cause statement and you see what happened, the whole ordeal, you appreciate why it became criminal, because otherwise you think, you know, a father takes kids out for a hike, it gets cold, they get in a little bit of trouble. How is that child abuse? But when you look at the conduct that occurred here and the fact that it was pretty obvious that they were in trouble, that they were going to get in some serious health issues, and yet it continued, that's when you start crossing the line between, you know, just being a negligent parent and being a child abuser. And that's what the district attorney has decided, that this conduct was so bad that it had to be charged criminally.
Okay, so what is the attorney's office alleging is the motive here? I mean, what was going on through Smith's mind when this was happening?
I think it's still unclear because Smith told his daughter this is just the experience of a lifetime. But we know that at one point Smith had had suicidal ideations about a month prior, and after this event, he was arrested for domestic violence, and he also was found to be trespassing at Primary Children's because he was interfering with his 4-year-old's care. So I asked Greg if this intent or mindset plays a factor in the charges.
In child abuse cases, we rarely have an intentional act. You rarely have a parent being charged with intentionally harming a child, but the criminal law doesn't. The criminal law allows a parent to be charged with child abuse for what we call reckless conduct. In other words, it's something that a normal person just wouldn't have done. A right-thinking person under the circumstances would not have put the children in that category.
And in the probable cause statement, authorities say that instead of protecting his kids, Smith was ill-prepared and extremely selfish.
A lot going on here. Thanks so much, Heather. Governor Cox says he's open to the idea of expanding the state's Supreme Court. More on that coming up next, but first it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
If you're headed south to get away for the Thanksgiving holiday, you're going to run into delays southbound I-15 from Benjamin to Santaquin. Salt Lake County Freeway seeing a little bit of slowing southbound I-15 approaching 90th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
John, what are you doing? Get in my car. So why are you walking to work?
Thanks, man. It's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do, because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PROFIT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PROFIT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PROFIT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PROFIT.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We know you can get your holiday gifts anywhere these days, but knowing your loved one's gift was crafted by master jewelers? It's a difference everyone can see and feel, no matter the price. All of our fine jewelry begins with a vision by our in-house designers. Then, we ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. It's why our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive, free lifetime warranty that covers everything and doesn't cost a dime. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry to be nothing short of perfect. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brian's headed to the basketball court, but he's sick of this check engine light. So he goes to AutoZone for the free Fix Finder service,
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
where a friendly AutoZoner reads the light in just a few minutes and gives him a detailed report,
No big, just a loose gas cap.
and gets him to the court with a tight gas cap and tighter defense. The free Fix Finder service at AutoZone. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hard to believe, but Black Friday's here, and you know what that means. It's time for Black Friday money deals at UCCU.
There is an annual tradition now for Black Friday at UCCU where people look forward to, because unlike other Black Friday sales, Black Friday at UCCU is your chance to actually improve your finances.
Like a home equity loan with extra 0.25% off the intro rate, auto and RV loans with no payment for 90 days, low-rate credit cards with 0% interest for 6 months, and $150 cash just for signing up for direct deposit.
It's so easy, and that's just the beginning of Black Friday money deals. Keep going to uccu.com every week for new premium deals that will unlock, and they're things like cutting your auto loan rate in half to earning a higher interest rate on your savings. Enter each week for a chance to win these awesome prizes.
But you got to visit uccu.com every week. But if you come back and enter every time a new deal unlocks, you can win them all. So don't just enter once. Go every week, unlock every deal, and win big this Black Friday at UCCU.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah Governor Spencer Cox says he's open to the idea of expanding the state Supreme Court from 5 justices to 7. He made the remarks during his monthly PBS Utah news conference.
It's something that I do support, but not just I support getting more resources to the court generally. So I think the Court of Appeals also needs to be expanded. I think we're seeing the timelines and just the amount of litigation that we're seeing in the courts. I'd like to get more resources to our district court judges as well. I've seen their dockets; they're really backed up. We're not the state we were 40 years ago. We're not the state we were 20 years ago from a size perspective. And when you look across the country, I mean, there's a reason that most medium-sized states to larger states start to move to the 7 to 9 justice range. And so I think it probably makes sense at this time to expand from 5 to 7, and certainly to expand the Court of Appeals and see if we can't start moving so justice can move quicker through the system. I think that really matters.
The governor pushing back on the idea that this would be a kind of packing the court, something he was against the president doing when it was thrown around during the Biden administration.
Not for me. I mean, this is strictly based on the speed of the cases, and you can go map this out and look at the number of decisions over the past 10 years, and how difficult this has become for the court. It would also be weird to look at court packing when it's been Republican governors and Republican senators that have made all of the appointments, and I've never looked at it that way.
On Inside Sources this morning, hosts Greg Skordas, Holly Richardson spoke about the governor's claims of the courts being backlogged and weighed down by so many cases.
Just as someone who appears in court virtually every day, Holly, I would say this. The Supreme Court, in my opinion, in my experience, handles their cases on a fairly quick docket.
Yeah.
They're not delayed. They're not backed up. They do a great job. The Court of Appeals, I think they have 7 judges there, and they hear their cases in panels of 3. Fairly quick. They're doing their job very well. I don't necessarily support at adding judges to either of those. But the governor also talked about the district court, the trial court, the judges that are, where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
That's where we need some help. I mean, you go to some of these counties like Utah County, Weber County, and you'll see judges with dockets, no kidding, that'll have 100 cases.
Wow.
Now, how do you do 100 cases?
Wow.
And that's the morning docket.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Sometimes I'll get there at 2 o'clock for my afternoon case, and they'll say, the judge is still doing the 9 o'clock calendar because it went so long.
Wow.
That's where we need some help.
Greg says that for a state our size, however, we do have a small number of justices on our state Supreme Court. Utah lawmakers and business leaders are setting their sights on the emerging economy of India. A contingent from Utah traveled to India this month as part of President Trump's initiative to begin trade negotiations with that country. Among them, Senate President Stuart Adams, who tells me there are great untapped opportunities in India for Utah companies.
India is the largest country in the world. It's even larger than China. A third of the world's population lives in India. And it's an amazing spot. They've got some of the most talented people I've met, very bright, very innovative, and yet they're trying to emerge into an economic status that they're an emerging event that is an opportunity for businesses in Utah. If you're a business and you want to grow your market, India is a spot you ought to go.
Yeah, what are some of the areas that you found would be most helpful for businesses here in Utah?
Well, almost any area. I mean, again, they're innovative. So one example was we had Lifetime Products, which is a great Utah company. They build all kinds of sports products, tables, everything that you can imagine. Yeah, I think everyone probably has something from Lifetime Products in their home or they use. They looked at India 10 years ago and did not engage. They came back and they said that was one of the biggest mistakes they've made because whether it's sports equipment or whether it's tables or whatever it is, you've got a third of the world's population that wants to consume your products or needs your products to be able to emerge and to be able to have the quality of life that they want. They're very educated, they're very smart, and they've got a really good economy.
There have been concerns about tariffs. Would that be an issue with India?
Well, I think that's always part of the problem. That will be, as you build products there, that may be an issue. But again, I think we're trying to balance the trade deficit. And so the way to balance the trade deficit would be to sell products in India. As they buy more products, it balances it and their tariffs go down. And again, I actually believe that President Trump will figure out how to deal with the tariffs. India has a longstanding relationship with Russia. There's a problem with Russian oil. They'll get through that problem. I'm sure they'll work that out. In fact, while we were there, some of those problems were actually resolved. So I think we need to skate to where the puck's going to be. If we worry about tariffs, I think we'll be left behind. I think we have to assume that those issues will be resolved, and we need to go out and take advantage of the markets that are there, and India is one of them.
Yeah, this is a kind of a beginning, I want to say. So what kinds of things are happening to develop this partnership with India more?
Well, they consume coal, and we know coal is, a difficult issue, but we have the most clean coal in Utah of anywhere in the world. And if they're going to consume coal, they ought to consume Utah clean coal. They ask about that. They've got critical mineral deposits. They've got manufacturing. We have critical mineral deposits, and we are trying to develop our manufacturing of critical minerals. We could partner with them on all kinds of manufacturing and exploration and mining, and India is really, I think, a leader in those industries.
One of the other things mentioned was Utah's tourism industry and how you highlighted that in your trip to India. Describe how you hope that will help them as well.
Well, can you imagine a third of the world's population not knowing where Utah is? And I know some people come from India, but I don't think they really understand that we have the best national parks, the best recreation facilities. And then I don't think many Americans know much about India and their beauties and the opportunities are there. Their food is amazing, and they've got some of the prettiest sights and some of the funnest places to go in the world. So I think that's a real missed opportunity for not us to share those cultural events back and forth and to be able to have that great tourism association. They're well aware now from our visit that we're going to host the 2034 Winter Olympics, and they're really intrigued with the Olympics and really have some great Olympians, and that's an issue to them. They'd like to be more involved in that Olympic effort.
Anything you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you?
One of the things that I think is also really important to remember is that right now, I used to think the world was a little safer when the Berlin Wall came down, and I thought we were into a new era. The events in the world that have happened over the past few years with Ukraine and with Israel and others have indicated to me, at least, that the world is not as stable or safe as it once was. And the way we're going to make the world more stable and more safe is to have good partners around the world. And I think as we reach out and have the opportunities to get to know people of other cultures, it not only is a great economic event, it's not only a great cultural event, but I believe it actually helps to be able to stabilize and make the world a safer spot.
And that is Senate President Stuart Adams, who recently returned from a trade mission to India. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A suspect is in custody following the shooting of 2 National Guardsmen near the White House. Utahns are coming together to support those less fortunate this holiday season. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Still slow down southbound I-15 through Payson. Maria?
Weather shouldn't be a factor for the holiday. 52 for today's high. Dry tomorrow as well with a high near 56 degrees. And it looks like on Friday we do have a chance of showers. It's 1:30.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. 2 members of the National Guard have been shot at a metro station in Washington, D.C. near the White House. According to a law enforcement official briefed, a female Guard member and a male Guard member are both in critical condition. ABC's Jay O'Brien is on scene.
We just watched what appeared to be one of those 2 wounded National Guardsmen loaded into an ambulance that just sped off with a police escort. The scene seems to be concentrated, and it's difficult to see through these vehicles, but it seems to be concentrated inside the metro station.
Authorities say a male believed to be the suspect is in custody and in critical condition. President Trump deployed the National Guard to D.C. in August to help curb crime. ABC's Aaron Katursky has more on the investigation.
With a suspect in custody and the scene seemingly secure, a focus will turn to whether these guardsmen were specifically targeted.
The White House in lockdown and says President Trump has been briefed. He's at his Florida estate. This is ABC News.
Time now for local news. We do have breaking news locally. Kearns police have arrested the suspect in a shooting this morning. They say 2 people, 1 man, 1 woman, were shot at a home near 5400 South and 5600 West. They were taken to the hospital in stable condition. Police say they believe that there was 1 shooter involved who is now in custody. Thanksgiving is known for football, but there's BYU basketball to look forward to tomorrow. It's the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events Invitational. Cougars will play the Miami Hurricanes in Florida, and KSL BYU insider Mitch Harper says they have a good chance.
These spots historically would have been, oh man, buckle up, BYU. If they can somehow get this win, it could really help their cause long term for the season, but as we saw last time out for BYU against Wisconsin, who was a nationally ranked team at the time, BYU has, when they are playing at their best, they can blow out teams, even really good teams, because of the talent and the complete nature of BYU's roster right now.
If the Cougs win, they will advance in the tournament and play again on Friday. You can catch the game tomorrow right here on KSL News Radio. The pregame at 2 and the tip-off is set for 3. University of Utah is encouraging students to use electric vehicles by making it easier to charge them on campus. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
2 years ago, it was hard to find a charging station at the U of U, and when you did, they often didn't work, says a university professor. but now they're well on their way to becoming the most concentrated site of stations in the state. Startup company Grid Elevated donated 100 electric vehicle charging stations to the university, and now they report there has been a 400% increase in charging use.
They have installed 60 charging stations so far and plan to put the next 40 up in the coming months. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 383 points, nearly a full percent, sitting at 47,495. S&P up by 61 points, and the Nasdaq up by 237 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Any heavy traffic out there, Ricky?
We have a lot of heavy traffic on that southbound drive of I-15 in Utah County, Maria. And we had 2 crashes there earlier. The crashes have been cleared, but as you're going through Benjamin and Payson, you're going to see traffic that's pretty congested. So if you're headed south for the holiday, give yourself extra travel time. We also have an accident in Davis County, northbound I-15 at 5th South in Bountiful. It has been moved out of traffic to the shoulder, but we're still waiting for emergency crews to arrive. Dave's Bernina's Black Friday week sale is amazing. All machines on sale, 48-month no interest offers, doorbuster bargains, great deals on trade-in machines. Dave's Bernina, Provo, and St. George. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Every day this week, the updated forecast calling for less of a chance of showers on Friday. Now we're at a 20% chance. That's the first chance of showers this week. 10% on Saturday, and then up to 40% by Sunday. 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done because soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan, because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's proposal to sever ties to the scouting program is hitting local scout leaders hard. In a draft memo obtained by national media, Hegseth says the scouting organization, once endorsed by President Theodore Roosevelt, is no longer supporting the future of American boys. Scoutmaster Jonathan Oldroyd has been a scout leader for more than 2 decades, and he says Hegseth's proposal came as a big surprise.
Disheartened might be a word. I would say that I disagree with his reasoning for that because the reasons that he had were not consistent with what scouting represents.
So describe what you mean by that.
He said that scouting is a woke organization and also that it's not a meritocracy. I would say that scouting weekly, they salute the flag and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance. They sort of do their duty to God and their country to help other people at all times, keep themselves physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And then they recite the 12 points of the Scout Law, including trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Eagle Scouts also have to participate in over 150 hours of community service to earn their Eagle rank and around 2 years of leadership positions. And part of that is earning merit badges to receive their rank advancements. The word merit is in the name of the badge, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how this would not be considered a meritocracy.
This has to be very discouraging for someone like you that has spent decades in the scouting program. What does
Absolutely.
what does it say to the boys in the program?
I think it's a slap in the face. These are boys who, in order to gain their Eagle Scout, have to earn 4 different merit badges that begin with the word citizenship. Citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world, and citizenship in society. They learn about how government works, how the world works, how communities work, and they learn how to be citizens in each of those. And each of those merit badges are really difficult to obtain. Most scouts, it takes them about a month to earn each of those citizenship merit badges individually. So it's a lot of work. And that's in addition to the other merit badges they have to earn to become Eagle Scouts. They have to earn a total of 22 merit badges now to become an Eagle.
Do you feel that adding girls to the program takes away from any of those things?
Absolutely not. The young women that join, they embrace all those values just as well or better than the boys. They work just as hard or even harder, and they love that they have the opportunity to camp and hike and use knives and axes and saws and learn about things and take part in leadership positions. I would say to anyone who thinks otherwise of that, they should go to one of the organized summer scout camps that the district puts on and see how those girls troops perform. They tend to have more spirit and get things done even faster than the boys.
Yeah, I've heard complaints from people, but not from Boy Scouts. Have you heard complaints from any of your Boy Scouts about the girls joining?
No way. Not a single one.
You've written a letter to your congressman, and what have you said to him?
I first of all told them that I was grateful for their role in getting the Epstein files released and how that was a step in the right direction toward youth. And then I talked about the values of scouting, and I can't think of another organization, youth or otherwise, that teaches love of their country any better than the Scouts does, and love of God.
Anything that you would like to add that maybe I haven't asked you?
I would say one of the things that people worry about are things like abuse and the adult leaders in scouting. I would say that the scouting program has come a long way since a lot of those things, and every organization has problems with that. No organization is perfect, but what I've seen in that regard is that most of the leaders are parents of the kids, and they care about the kids. Every adult leader has to pass an intense youth protection course and have a background check. And it's also good to note that any adult leader can be terminated at any time for whatever reason based on what the Scout Committee says. In that youth protection course, the adult leaders have to learn about the patterns of abuse and things like that and keep their eyes open for grooming and anything that could raise a red flag. So we're all watching each other and keeping an eye on each other. And as a Scoutmaster, with each rank advancement, I interview each of the kids, and we also have a board of review that interviews the kids, and we always ask them about how they're doing and how they're feeling about Scouts and if there's any problems, and we keep a pretty tight check on those kind of things.
Hegseth's memo argues the Pentagon should ban Scout troops from meeting at military bases while severing congressionally mandated support to the National Jamboree. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
A deal to end the war between Russia and Ukraine is closer and closer. That's according to U.S. negotiators who have been working with Ukraine. The White House says there are still a few details that need further discussions. President Trump hopes he can bring the Russia-Ukraine war to an end during this Thanksgiving holiday.
President Donald Trump says his Ukraine peace plan is now fine-tuned, and he's dispatching envoys to Moscow and Kyiv to push forward negotiations.
We're having good talks.
Speaking aboard Air Force One, President Donald Trump called the 28-point proposal a concept, saying the war has proven harder to resolve than expected, but negotiations are moving.
It's a long, complicated process, and very sad because so many people have been killed.
A major sticking point is Trump's push for Ukraine to give up the entire Donbas region, reduce the size of its army, and ensure Ukraine won't join NATO, something many U.S. allies say risks rewarding Russian aggression. Ukraine's president says he's still willing to engage.
I'm ready to meet with President Trump, and there are sensitive points to discuss. We have them still, and we think that the presence of European leaders could be helpful.
Trump says talks will continue, with envoy Steve Witkoff expected to meet Putin next week.
They're going to keep talking. They're talking to Russia now. Steve Witkoff is going over.
European leaders say progress is real, but
it's only if Russia believes we're serious to responding to any violation that this will underpin a lasting peace.
Russia's foreign minister says the Kremlin still hasn't received the U.S.'s final proposal, but they are waiting for it.
That is News Nation's Basil John reporting from Washington. The Pentagon now investigating Democratic Senator from Arizona Mark Kelly for his appearance in a video urging service members to disregard orders that violate the law. Here's ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott on the Start Here podcast.
We are learning that the FBI wants to talk to the 6 Democratic lawmakers who President Trump accused of seditious behavior punishable by death for recording a message to the military telling service members they should not follow illegal orders.
They're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not.
The FBI has requested interviews with all 6 of those lawmakers.
Each of us who has participated has previously served this nation with honor. And the fact that the president responded with threats is really chilling. And it reveals far more about his authoritarian instincts than it does about anything that we said.
And Brad, some of these lawmakers put out statements saying that the FBI contacted the House and Senate Sergeant at Arms requesting to do those interviews with them. But it's still unclear what laws they may have violated with that video they posted.
Does the FBI actually have a potential case here? And what would the actual charges be?
Well, these lawmakers are saying that the president is using the FBI as, quote, a tool to intimidate and harass members of Congress.
The president's reaction and the use of the FBI against us is exactly why we made the video.
They say they're not going to be scared by this. They say they're not going to be intimidated by the president and that they're going to continue to do their jobs.
That was a wildly inappropriate thing for so-called leaders in Congress to do, to encourage young troops to disobey orders.
I think the big question here that many Republicans have is, what exactly also were those Democrats talking about in that video?
There's no secret that the president is trying to weaponize the Justice Department. We've seen him do this many times with many different people already. This is a tool of fear. He's trying to get us to shut up.
Democratic Senator Lisa Slotkin was asked directly by our own Martha Raddatz what illegal orders she believes the administration is asking military members to carry out. And she said that she's not aware of any, but she went on to say there are some legal gymnastics that are going on here, especially in light of the president's recent moves in the Caribbean and Venezuela.
Certainly, if we're going to actually think about prosecuting some sort of war or military action against the mainland of Venezuela, I would hope that the president would want to have that conversation publicly, bring in the American people.
As for when those interviews might take place, Brad, some of these lawmakers say they have heard from the FBI. They've responded to request more information on what exactly they're looking for.
First, it was the Navy, and now it's the FBI. Both are involved in investigating this video from Democratic lawmakers. Rachel Scott says more agencies could get involved, too. Helping Utah's homeless community have a filling Thanksgiving meal. More on how Utahns are coming together this holiday season coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Maria, we have some busy traffic southbound I-15 in Salt Lake County, Murray to Midvale, and that's essentially from just after 45th South to 7200 South at the South Interchange. It's not only busy, but it's starting to slow down a bit. But it's Utah County where the delays linger, southbound I-15. They start as you're leaving Spanish Fork at about 8,000 South, and they finally ease by the time you're reaching Santaquin. If your holiday travels take you through that stretch of southbound I-15 in Utah County, you've got to allow for extra travel time. Find a nativity perfect for your home or to gift to loved ones. Every style, every size, every budget. Celebrate the true meaning of Christmas with nativities at Deseret Book and DeseretBook.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back, you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule at 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio, bringing you the latest from Washington, D.C., where those two National Guardsmen who were shot 2 blocks from the White House we've now learned that they have died. West Virginia's governor saying that they were West Virginia National Guardsmen and confirming that they have died. Let's go back to News Nation and listen in for a moment.
And exactly what happened here.
Yeah, and we know the information we're getting really from the President of the United States and the Governor of West Virginia. The President said the 2 guardsmen were in critical condition, and then moments later the Governor said both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were in D.C. Were killed in this shooting. Randy Sutton, I believe, still with us, retired lieutenant. You were the one, Randy, telling us, right, that you'd heard about, the guardsmen possibly, and we don't have this confirmed, where the shooting, on their body took place, but that someone had been maybe shot in the head. That's the first I'd heard about it from you. We knew they were in critical condition, but now they've died. So anything that you'd add? That's obviously a brutal update to this.
Well, now this is being investigated as a double homicide, a double murder. Now, the questions that are in everybody's mind: was this a target of opportunity that this individual confronted these guardsmen and then launched his attack, or was this a planned assassination? Was this individual someone who is moved by ideology? Was this a crime of opportunity? Was this did these guardsmen confront this individual based on some other set of circumstances? These are all the questions that are on everyone's mind, and of course, the direction that the investigation takes will determine, what the motivations are, if there's a plot involved, if there's any other individuals involved, what were the weapons that were utilized. I mean, the fact that these, from my understanding, both of these were both these guardsmen were shot in the head, and that indicates either a very adept marksman or a very close proximity shooting. Now, and the other question is, who shot the suspect? Was it the guardsmen? Was there a law enforcement presence? We have a whole lot more questions than we do answers.
That's what I was wondering as well, where the response came from, because the suspect was also shot. The president said the suspect was severely wounded. Again, he had told us about the guardsmen being in critical condition, but then the governor of West Virginia said that they had both died. One other smaller update to all of this: the FAA had temporarily paused arrivals into Reagan National, which of course is not far from downtown Washington, D.C., because of the locations of some of the aircraft involved in the response to the shooting. But the normal operations at Reagan National have now resumed. Again, terrible story developing not very far from the White House, just a couple of blocks away today. 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard were shot earlier in the afternoon. The governor.
And again, we've been listening to News Nation confirming the deaths of those 2 National Guardsmen. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Those in need will be able to get a hot Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow with all the fixins at Holy Trinity Cathedral in downtown Salt Lake. The Greek Orthodox community is continuing its annual tradition, and Parish Council member Chris Coombs says it's a labor of love.
For 40 years at least, the Greek Orthodox community downtown has hosted an annual Thanksgiving community meal. It's a full-course meal with dessert and live entertainment, actually. We've served approximately 2,000 people, at least we estimate, and we're doing so again this year, and that's what we're planning on doing tomorrow.
Describe for me kind of behind the scenes and what goes into the preparation for this.
Yeah, so actually a lot of work. In terms of the food preparation, we have at least 106 turkeys we're cooking. We have at least 1,000 pounds of yams. We've prepared 500 plus hygiene kits, as well as ample amounts of clothes, from blankets to hats to coats to pants to you name it. So it's not only a Thanksgiving meal, but it's a clothing drive for the homeless and the needy.
Yeah, describe for me how the community has been involved and what it means to the community to provide this meal and clothing.
It's an annual tradition is what it really is, and it's a way for us to give back to the broader community, especially the downtown community. We find ways, even if people are not there, to serve them, because we do a lot of deliveries. We do 700 plus deliveries as part of this to 18 different locations, including like places like St. Mark's Hospital or the Utah Housing Corporation. So there's a lot that goes into this, and the community looks forward to this every year as a way to give back.
Yeah, I am always amazed at how many people get involved from the community. I know that you had the youth get together yesterday or last night, and along with Scout Group to sort clothes and do such things.
Yeah, no, it's not only the community too in all our groups. It's also outside groups too that come and lend a hand and who help make it possible and help with serving and deliveries. So it's really a full-fledged community event. I would also add that, with that note, it's 100 plus volunteers, and it's just a great way for the church to fulfill its mission and also to help out when it can.
And that hot Thanksgiving meal will be served at Holy Trinity Cathedral beginning at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hitting the road and taking to the skies, millions of Americans are traveling for Thanksgiving.
The rude people are that's the worst part about traveling, the inconsiderate ones.
Through it all, you'll probably encounter some hotheads. So what can you do to keep the heat out of the car and on the meal instead?
You can allow yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going. You can give yourself plenty of room between you and yourself and the other cars.
The time is 2 o'clock on Wednesday, November 26th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are taking a look at Thanksgiving travel traffic and what you need to know to make it to your feast all in one piece. Also this hour,
when they are playing at their best, they can blow out teams, even really good teams.
The BYU Cougars looking to keep the momentum going with a few football games this holiday weekend. We'll get a preview at 2:30. But first, our top stories. Salt Lake District Attorney says a unified police officer was legally justified in shooting at a wanted man who rammed two police cars. DA Sim Gill says members of the gang unit had been looking for Nicholas Sickler, who had fled from police back in March of last year. Later that day, when police boxed him in, Sickler used his car to slam the police vehicles, and Detective Cody Pender fired 2 shots out of fear for his life. Sickler wasn't hurt and was later arrested by West Valley Police. Our top national story, and it is breaking news. 2 National Guardsmen were killed after they were shot blocks away from the White House.
We have seen National Guard in recent months stage at these metro stations as part of a larger public safety operation. We see a number of National Guardsmen who have also arrived here. In fact, our bureau is just a few blocks away. As we were running here to this scene to cover the story, we were running behind members of the National Guard who were sprinting here on their cell phones, trying to get a sense of what was going on.
That is ABC's Jay O'Brien at the scene. The suspect was also shot and is in custody. Starting in January, you'll be able to get most national park passes sent straight to your phone. That includes all of the annual senior, military, 4th grade, access, and volunteer passes. Department of Interior Secretary Doug Burgum spoke about the new changes in a video on social media.
These changes reflect our commitment to affordability so that every family from every corner of our country can share in the wonder and abundance of our public lands.
The annual pass will still cost about $80, but non-U.S. residents will now have to pay more than 3 times that amount. The animal that shot the two National Guardsmen, with both men being critically wounded, that is how President Trump is referring to the man who shot those two National Guardsmen as an animal. He says they were severely wounded, and I need to rephrase this. The president responding after those two National Guardsmen were shot. Both of those men have now died. The president saying, God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement, that these are truly great people. And saying, quote, as president of the United States, everyone associated with the office of the presidency is with them. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 314 points at the close, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 47,427. S&P 500 up by 46 points, and the Nasdaq up by 189 points. Traffic and weather, it's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards, and here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a new accident in Weber County. This is southbound on I-15. It's after 31st Street in Ogden. You're in the Riverdale area by the time you see this crash. It's out of traffic on the left. And then delays. And this has been going on most of the morning, southbound I-15, from Spanish Fork just after the Highway 6 junction through Payson. You'll see speeds improve by the time you're reaching Santaquin. Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. That's GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High today at 52, 56 degrees for your Thanksgiving high, and it's going to be dry tomorrow as well. A slight chance of showers coming your way on Friday. And there will be a high of 53 degrees, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Join the KSL Real Estate Show at a special time this Saturday, 7 a.m. before the BYU pregame show. The latest on Wasatch Front real estate. This Saturday morning from 7 to 8.
$1.5 trillion is parked on the sidelines. Projects that would help create good-paying American jobs are stuck in years of burdensome reviews. Permitting reform would unlock over 650 major U.S. infrastructure projects, from new roads and bridges to bringing more energy online. With faster, more efficient permitting, we can unleash America's economic potential. Let's move from waiting to building. Ready, set, let's build. Paid for by Business Roundtable.
The magic of the season is fast approaching, and Cactus and Tropicals is here to help you be holiday ready. Preview the store, decked out and bursting with festive holiday decor. Meander through the store full of lush plants, amidst twinkling lights, unique ornaments, and the freshest arrangements and foliage. Looking for a statement piece for your home? Cactus and Tropicals will help you find something incredible, including gifts for everyone on your list and you. From vibrant poinsettias and other holiday plants to unique and festive decor along with expert advice, you'll wrap it up in one, well, maybe two visits. And don't forget expert holiday design services. Sign up for plant classes and enjoy carefully curated gifting bundles. At Cactus and Tropicals, your season will surely be merry and bright. So stop in today to any of the 3 Cactus and Tropicals locations, Salt Lake, Draper, and Midvale. For special hours, orders, and more, visit cactusandtropicals.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. If you're planning to hit the roads on the way to your Thanksgiving feast, you will be in good company. With millions of people set to travel for the holiday weekend, you are bound to hit some traffic, either in the skies or on the roads. Well, let's start with the roads. Holiday traffic already caused some issues yesterday, and we could see more today. The traffic might make you a little hot-headed. So how do you stay calm if or when you hit that holiday traffic?
You know, I think it's a matter of changing our mindset a little bit when we understand that traffic's just going to be heavier for the holiday. We know that. We know that's coming. You can allow yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going. You can give yourself plenty of room between you and yourself and the other cars. And, that changes the way you think about the traffic a little bit. If you understand that it's going to be, delayed, if you understand you need to allow yourself a little extra time, then the way you think about, the frustrations of traffic changes, and you could be a little bit more positive and optimistic about it. And you can avoid those conflicts on the road that we seem to be seeing more frequently.
Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Mike Alexander spoke to Inside Sources this morning with some tips. He says if you are traveling with your kids, you must make sure that they are buckled in safely.
The important thing is to make sure they are properly buckled up. You're going to have kids of all ages, all sizes. Make sure they're in the proper child restraint device and in a seatbelt properly so that they're secure and safe. Make sure that you're wearing a seatbelt. We see a much higher likelihood of passengers being injured if even one occupant in the car is not buckled up. So that's going to be important. And then as a driver and a responsible adult with kids in the vehicle, while we're on the topic of road rage and staying calm, make sure that you're setting a good example. Your children or the children that you're driving around will see how you act and react to incidents on the road, and they will mimic those type of behaviors when they have the opportunity to drive. So it's important for all of us to maintain good, calm behavior and set the example for our rising generation.
That is UHP Sergeant Mike Alexander. While we're talking about the roads, let's check in with the KSL Traffic Center to see how things are looking right now. Ricky, any trouble spots already popping up?
Yeah, and Maria, I have to say, I'm really surprised by this. We have had a slow drive on southbound I-15 between Spanish Fork through Payson since I got here before 11 o'clock this morning. I wasn't expecting this today. Now, everything that we had yesterday, I was totally expecting, and it was a wild ride.
Okay, so in your experience, should drivers expect to see more delays this afternoon and around the Thanksgiving holiday?
Well, UDOT has said that this afternoon's commute should be quiet, that most of it has already happened Monday and yesterday, and that this afternoon our drive home might be even lighter than normal. We'll hope for the best, but if we're planning for the worst, then if you're still trying to think about getting out for the holiday, you still want to try to leave early, because I think some of these delays are going to remain in place. And this is even after they've brought up all the construction projects. They've put those on hold. So these delays we're seeing right now, quite unusual. And right now they don't show any signs of easing. So the best thing you can do is plan well ahead. Give yourself a lot of extra travel time between when you leave and when you're hoping to arrive at your destination.
All right, Ricky. Thank you so much. Ricky Meese in the traffic center, but we're always all running late. How are things looking nationally? Smooth sailing or a bumpy road? If you're planning to catch a flight tonight to your Thanksgiving turkey feast, what should you know? On this episode of the Start Here podcast, hosted by Brad Milkey, ABC's lead transportation producer Sam Sweeney previews the monster Thanksgiving crush on the roads and in the skies.
Before Thanksgiving gatherings can begin, people gotta gather, which is why this marks the start of generally far and away the biggest travel weekend of the year.
Sam, you going anywhere for Thanksgiving? You sticking close to the office? What's your plan?
I'm going to stay in Washington, D.C. for the first time this Thanksgiving. Normally I go up and see my family, but this year I'm going to be here with friends.
This is ABC's lead transportation producer, Sam Sweeney, and he's very much in the minority because this year is expected to break records.
AAA is predicting roughly 82 million people are going to travel more than 50 miles or more this Thanksgiving. That's about 1.6 million more than we saw last year.
Now, what's interesting about these travel plans is what mode of transportation people are using.
6 million of those are going to do it by air domestically.
6 million is a lot of flyers. Weather is a bit frostier than usual, meaning delays are possible. Passengers are being reminded to have their real IDs ready. So far, though, Sam says, most travelers are arriving without a hassle, especially compared to when the government shutdown was raging a few weeks ago.
There have been very few cancellations, and there were a lot of people really nervous about a canceled flight just a couple of weeks ago during the government shutdown.
2 weeks ago, this security line was down and around, so it was
Like I barely made it through even to my flight, but today seems pretty good so far.
Things have gotten back up to speed. Air traffic controllers are back in the towers. The TSA workers are back at the airport.
Flight was great. It was easy. We got through TSA pretty quick.
Everybody's getting paid and things are moving smoothly.
I'm shocked it's not that busy.
It's busy, but doable.
But this is where we're still seeing the effects of the shutdown. Air travel analysts say air bookings are actually down a bit this year, under expectations. Carriers saw huge dips in bookings during the shutdown. People were spooked. And late October, early November is often when people are cementing their Thanksgiving plans. So, where are all those people now, if not in the skies? Well, you're going to see a lot of them on the road. The real records are appearing on our nation's highways.
70 million people are going to be traveling, so most people will be traveling by road 50 miles or more.
Today, of course, is expected to be incredibly busy. So is Sunday as everyone returns home.
We're getting ready because, we want to beat the traffic.
You don't want to leave during rush hour, and you don't want to get there during rush hour.
So how can you avoid peak aggravation?
The best advice that I can give is leave early in the morning.
Sam's talking about 11 a.m. or so, noon departure at the latest. Either aim early or aim really late.
But if you don't leave by then, especially in the big cities, you're going to hit traffic. Otherwise, leave after 9 p.m.
And if you're thinking to yourself, wait, if I'm hitting the road that late, what am I supposed to eat on the way? Well, the nice thing about traveling home from Thanksgiving is hopefully you'll have plenty of leftovers.
Okay, we've already passed that noon deadline that Sam was mentioning. So if you haven't left yet, you might actually want to wait until late tonight. The skies are generally looking okay today, at least here in the west. Some rough weather is creating a bit of a headache back east. Our sister station, Cairo News in Seattle, spoke with a few people heading through the airport to find out how they are feeling traveling in what's often the busiest travel season of the year.
So it's the ones that feel entitled to get in front of you because they decided to leave 15 minutes late, and I left 15 minutes on time, and now you get to push me around. They get to the TSA gate, and they just forget that it's a TSA gate, and you have to be prepared to take your shoes off or be prepared to open your bag up. So, yeah, it's those people.
Just the overall, taking so much stuff off. That's why I try to travel sweats, leggings, something easy, so I can get through the line quickly.
You've got a jacket, hats, headphones, hoodie. You got to take all that off.
Right, yeah.
The waiting line.
Have you been waiting much today, or is it pretty clear?
Not today, because it's 5 in the morning.
Exactly.
Not traveling.
The chaos for sure.
Getting on the plane.
Getting on the plane.
That was so close.
I know.
Like we've said before, plan, prepare, and pack your patience if you're flying to your Thanksgiving dinner. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
My friend Joey loves to use old familiar sayings.
You know what they say?
The problem is,
don't look at a gift horse, because you can't make them drink.
He gets a lot of them mixed up.
People who live in glass houses,
here it comes,
shouldn't cry over spilt milk.
There are also a lot of sayings in the financial world, like, you'll pay lower taxes in retirement. But for many people, it's just not true. You may have done a great job saving in that 401k or IRA, but Uncle Sam is ready to grab a big portion of that money. The team at Galileo Wealth Management can help with strategies that you can start now to lower your tax bill in the future. More for you and less for Uncle Sam.
Or as they say, an apple a day is worth 2 in the bush.
Get the facts on your tax bill in retirement. Call Galileo Wealth today at 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online at GalileoWealth.com.
And remember, a stitch in time keeps the doctor away. Does,
When you think of Thanksgiving, the first thing you probably think about is that gigantic feast, the one that fills the entire table plus a few counters, I'm sure. Now, as you get to work on cooking that mouth-watering feast, you need to make sure you're taking the right precautions to prevent illness. After all, getting sick on a holiday is one surefire way to ruin that holiday. Epidemiologist Brianne Osborne with the Utah Department of Health tells me you have to pay special attention to the turkey since bacteria is a common concern with poultry.
The biggest thing with the turkey is to make sure that you're cooking it to the appropriate temperature. So for turkey, that's 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to be checking the thickest part of the breast, the innermost part of the thigh, and the innermost part of the wing to make sure that we're killing all of that salmonella and other kinds of bacteria that may be in there. And the other thing that you want to think about is cross-contamination. So raw birds, as you're preparing them, can spread bacteria in your kitchen, which we don't want. So we don't recommend that anybody washes their turkeys. That can actually spread bacteria more. And to think about cleaning surfaces after you're putting all your seasonings and things on it.
Yeah, what is the best way to clean those surfaces? Are we talking Clorox or just soap and water?
Yeah, great question. So we actually recommend a bleach water solution. So in general, you can use, I believe it's 1 tablespoon of liquid bleach to about a gallon of water and use that to clean your counters.
Okay. One thing I didn't think to ask you about is that thawing out the turkey. If folks don't have that turkey fully thawed, I'm imagining there's some do's and don'ts there as well, because do you really want to be running hot water over it and then spreading salmonella or something else?
Yeah, that can definitely go wrong. So the same kind of principles apply. We don't want to keep a turkey out for very long. So if you are thawing a turkey, the best way to do it is in your refrigerator over, the few days going into Thanksgiving. You can also thaw the turkey in some cold water in your sink. Generally, you want to keep that turkey in the packaging and be changing out the water every 30 minutes to make sure that water stays cold so that we don't have bacteria proliferating.
Okay. Other foods that we need to think about and health and food safety for the holidays.
Yeah, and so a lot of people talk about stuffing in your bird or maybe preparing it separately. Generally, we recommend preparing that separately just to make sure that it's fully cooked through and that we don't have bacteria in there. But in general, with other foods, the biggest thing is just to make sure that you're not leaving perishable foods out on your counter for too long. So we generally recommend not leaving things out for more than 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is too long? For some folks, that stuff sits out on the counter all day long, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Are there some particular things we need to be more focused on? Probably some of the dips might not be a big concern, but things like the turkey and anything that has maybe a milk product in it, we should really be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, anything that's perishable, so things that you would generally put in your refrigerator and keep there overnight, those are the things we're worried about and wanting to make sure that it's not staying out for more than 2 hours.
Yeah, generally, do you see a lot of people that tend to get sick over Thanksgiving?
We do see some. I don't know that there's a super noticeable increase in the amount of illnesses that are reported to us, but certainly there's a lot of people who get sick and we don't hear about it. So it's definitely possible, and we just want to make sure we're practicing good food safety.
Yeah. What is the biggest thing that tends to go wrong?
Yeah, definitely that turkey can go wrong. Turkey just in general can have a lot of bacteria there that can make people sick. And then also just keeping foods out for long periods of time that can actually cause some bacteria that can produce toxins and make you sick. So just making sure that we're keeping foods out of the danger zone, which is that 40 degrees to 140 degrees, just making sure that we're keeping hot foods hot and cold foods cold.
All right. Brianne, anything we need to add for folks?
The USDA has some really great resources on food safety, especially for Thanksgiving. So you can go to fsis.usda.gov/food-safety. They have a turkey thawing calculator and a turkey cooking calculator as well. And they also have a meat and poultry hotline that is staffed on Thanksgiving until 2 p.m. Eastern time. So folks can call 1-888-MP hotline to get some more personalized advice for their cooking adventures.
Brianne Osborne is an epidemiologist with the Utah Department of Health. A federal election interference case is being dropped against President Trump. Analysis coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Ricky?
Well, Maria, as we've been reporting most of the morning, the delays on southbound I-15 after the Highway 6 junction in Spanish Fork down to Santaquin, they've just been growing and lingering. We are not seeing any kind of improvement, and we have spots where traffic is not only at a crawl, it's sometimes at a stopped pace and then just inching along. So be prepared for a long drive through that stretch of Utah County. And an accident southbound I-15 in Riverdale. This is after 31st Street, Ogden, and prior to the I-84 junction. They're over to the left shoulder. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Black Friday deals are back at Scandinavian Designs. For a limited time, discover incredible savings on Nordic-inspired furniture and decor for every space in your home. From statement pieces for your living room to instant upgrades for the dining room, bedroom, and more. It's the perfect time to refresh your favorite space or reimagine your entire home. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple. You make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes a new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit NPSstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. NPSstore.com.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Let me tell you an amazing story. Last week, a customer came in. They were a creative director for an agency, and they were frustrated that their old, slow computer wasn't processing their files quick enough. He had a big project due and could not afford any delays. Well, we hooked him up with one of our new, powerful 2025 desktops for only $999, and he was able to complete his project with ease. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done, because soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan, because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The new prosecutor in Georgia has dismissed the election interference case against President Trump and others like Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani. Fani Willis, who initially brought forth the charges, was dismissed from the case. Pete Skandalakis, the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, cast doubt on whether the timing of a potential case would be prudent since Trump is the sitting president. KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas gave some of his thoughts on the decision just after it broke this morning on Inside Sources.
During the time when he's president, everyone has agreed, it's King's X. We're not going to prosecute him, and so forget about it. And so all of these cases that were pending were dismissed. Whether they could be refiled or not, or whether they will be, was to be seen. But what surprises me the most, so with respect to Trump, I didn't expect that would go forward or that would ever go forward.
Right.
But there were 14 other defendants charged, including New York Mayor and Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. So there were other people involved, and so what is a little bit confusing is what will happen to them. They're still facing charges, but it doesn't surprise me in one respect that it was dismissed, because the prosecutor there, this Fannie Willis, just did the worst possible thing she could have. It's a high-profile case. She's taken the case on. She's taken a big media presence in the case. And then she assigns a special prosecutor who, by all accounts, was a very skilled prosecuting attorney. But it's learned during the course of the proceedings moving forward that she has some sort of an inappropriate romantic relationship with him. And so, I mean, why go down that road? I mean, you think you're going to get away with that? You think you're not going to be watched closely when you're prosecuting the President of the United States?
Skorda says the decision isn't surprising per se, but the timing is a little odd. U.S. continues to build its forces in the Caribbean as it weighs the possible military action against Venezuela. News Nation's Robert Sherman is in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where many of those troops are stationed.
Certainly, there's plenty of tension that is in the air here in the Caribbean with the way that you've seen the United States staging, building its presence here for the possibility of expansion. When you take a look inside of Venezuela itself, you've seen these government-orchestrated and organized demonstrations that are ongoing. Because they say what they're seeing here with the U.S. presence here, they intend to resist. That's according to the Venezuelan government, and do not intend to back down in the face of America building up its presence that is here in the region. Nevertheless, the White House's position is that they view the trafficking of drugs to their country as a legitimate threat and will continue to carry out their strikes and operations. You had the top leadership here for the U.S. military assessing the whole situation, preparing for what's to come. The White House playing all of this very close to the vest, but they insist that as long as you continue to see these drug trafficking operations, they will continue to carry out strikes and operate extensively here in the Caribbean. Take a listen.
We view the Maduro regime as being illegitimate, and the president has been very satisfied with the successful strikes against narco-terrorists and foreign terrorists that are illegally trafficking drugs towards the United States of America. He's not going to tolerate that.
The White House does acknowledge that this is a rather tense environment here. They are, on the one hand, they've said publicly that they would like to see some kind of a diplomatic solution here, but on the other hand, this is a campaign promise from the president to bring down the flow of illegal drugs going into the United States. And the White House contends that a key issue here is the country of Venezuela as a source for some of this drug trafficking.
President Trump says he wants to speak directly with Venezuela's president. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. 2 National Guardsmen shot near the White House. Conflicting reports about the status of those guardsmen. We are awaiting a press conference for more. It's not just a holiday weekend, but a sports weekend, too. We'll get previews of BYU's games. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Getaway delays on southbound I-15, Spanish Fork to Santaquin. Maria?
Time now for KSL's top local stories. Kearns police have arrested the suspect in a shooting this morning. They say 2 people, 1 man, 1 woman, were shot at a home near 5400 South and 5600 West. They were taken to the hospital in stable condition. This happened at a home near 5500 West Nautilus Drive just before 1:30 this morning. Unified Police Sergeant Amy Ray says they believe this was domestic violence.
It's very important to get law enforcement involved as soon as you can. Unfortunately, it can't prevent everything, but there's a lot of steps that can help.
Police say they believe there was one shooter involved who is now in custody. Other local stories KSL is following. It may be a holiday known for football, but we have basketball on our airwaves tomorrow. The BYU Cougars will take part in the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events Invitational. They are playing the Miami Hurricanes in Florida. KSL BYU insider Mitch Harper says they have a pretty good chance of winning, and their last game against Wisconsin proved it.
BYU has, when they are playing at their best, they can blow out teams, even really good teams, because of the talent and the complete nature of BYU's roster right now. So BYU, I thought that Wisconsin performance was maybe the finest hour of this team so far, both offensively and particularly on the defensive side.
Mitch says, win or lose, the Cougs play again on Friday. You can hear tomorrow's game here on KSL News Radio with pregame coverage starting at 2. Tip-off is scheduled for 3. University of Utah is well on its way to having the highest amount of charging stations for a single location in the state. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
2 years ago, faculty, students, and alumni came together to get more EV charging stations at the university. Professor at the university, Masood Parvania, says his startup, Grid Elevated, donated 100 chargers, 60 which have already been installed, leaving 40 to go.
Which is going to put the University of Utah from some place that we really didn't have much chargers to a place that is going to be is going to have some of the highest concentration of like EV chargers across the state.
Parvania says U of U is one of the most commuted to locations in the state. Since donating the chargers, university says they have seen a 400% increase in charging use across the campus. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up 314 points, nearly 0.75%, sitting at 47,427. S&P is up by 46 points and the NASDAQ up by 189 points. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Mountain America's Visa Triple Rewards. Here's Ricky Meese.
Well, Maria, I sound like a broken record, but it's in place, and this is what we're looking at. It's delays. If you're trying to get away for Thanksgiving, southbound I-15 is just stacked up and slow, and it's from Highway 6 Spanish Fork down to Santaquin. Now, by the time you're reaching Santaquin, speeds are improving, but there are stretches where traffic is at a crawl in that portion of Utah County. We also have traffic getting busy and slow southbound I-15 early for the drive home, going from Murray at 45th South into Sandy by the mall. And the crash on southbound I-15 in Riverdale has been cleared. We still have residual delays into Ogden. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry weather through Thanksgiving. Today's high 52, 56 tomorrow for your Thanksgiving day. Friday, things change just a little bit, but now just a slight chance of showers, 20% chance, and that chance exists again on Saturday, but much cooler on Saturday. 52 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Mr. Mac, suiting for every important chapter of your life. Weddings, proms, new job, any celebration, mission callings, and more. Mr. Mac's there to suit your needs with 9 locations or MrMac.com.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The Thanksgiving holiday weekend is also a big weekend for sports. Joining me now to preview all the games over the next few days is KSL Sports' Alex Curie. Alex, okay, first let's start with Friday, because Friday we don't have a show because of basketball.
You're bummed. You're really bummed about that.
Basketball?
Well, yeah, listen, this is like the most we've talked about basketball, by the way.
I know, it's
at
so
this
true.
time of year ever, because I mean, even as a knee-deep sports guy, like, we tend to just go, don't talk to me about college basketball, or even sometimes the NBA a little bit. You know, we love watching our Jazz here, but, like, I don't really get into the race itself until college football wraps totally. And so football takes over a lot of our world. But when you're a top 10, AP top 10 ranked team, you have one of the best players, if not the best player in the entire country on your team, your BYU basketball, like, man, they're talking about you. And you're playing in big tournaments, too. That's the other thing that happens is you're playing against good opponents. It's not just the soft cupcake schedule that you've seen in the past, I think, from BYU, because they just get invited to be in these tournaments. When you have a big team and when you have like a big name, people want to see you. And so they're taking on Miami in Florida, down near Orlando in a tournament. And so playing Miami, that's a great ACC opponent. They're a top 10 ranked team. They're number 9 right now in the country. Miami's not ranked, but Miami always has athletes. And you get a big win over a marquee name like that early in the season. Those are the types of things that later on, the selection committee, people like that, although if you're into the number 9 team in the country, you're not worried about if you're going to make the tournament. It's about how deep you're going to go in the NCAA tournament, hopefully.
Okay, let's talk football now.
Yeah.
Serious stuff. Football. College football.
So the Utes are playing on Friday. It's a Friday game. Friday, it's a bit of a bummer because last week's game, albeit one of the most exciting things we've ever seen, they ended up getting dinged by the College Football Playoff Committee because of that. They fell a spot. Miami jumped them. For no reason, by the way. This is, I mean, it's just, it's pure Big 12 hate. It's not really about anything else except for that the powers that be like to have those bigger brands in front of us, and they're just setting it up for us to be disappointed. So the disappointment that you could feel is not going to happen Utah versus Kansas. Kansas is below 500 right now. They're struggling, and they're going to be a tough, they're not going to be a tough team to beat, even out there in Lawrence. And I think that the Utes know, too. All they can do is be as impressive as they can, go out, beat the heck out of the people in front of them, and I think Kansas is going to be that next victim. I think you're going to see a big-time blowout by the Utes because they have to show the committee that they're there, and don't forget about us. And even if we have a game that's a little bit close of a win. By the way, I've never seen teams get dinged so badly for winning games. That's the part that makes me nuts. But that's a Friday game, and the BYU's got an early morning, early-ish morning, an 11 a.m. kickoff, which means a 9 a.m. Start to the day,
which means
for
no
people listening
greenhouse
here.
for me on Saturday.
Maria, you're getting.
I get a weekend off.
I was going to say.
Happy,
I was going to say you're getting
okay.
kicked off the air, but all for good reasons. So
it is.
BYU hosts UCF. UCF's having a struggle of a year. Same thing. BYU's got to take care of business, but kind of do it with style, which is weird. That's the new way in 2025 of saying blow these guys out so that you can be a little bit more impressive. If they do that, they'll have one loss on the season, just to number 5 Texas Tech, an 11-1 year. When we were predicting that after Jake Retzlaff hit the transfer portal, that this team was going to maybe be an 8-win team at best, and they're bettering last year. And so Kalani Sitake is doing a lot this year. It's going to be really, really exciting. If they get to the Big 12 championship game with this win this weekend, they will. It's going to be an exciting year. It's their third year in the Big 12 to be in the championship game, which is likely what's going to happen. Pretty cool. Extra football. That's what I like.
Okay, and that championship game is going to be on December 6th, right?
You'll probably be kicked off the air on that one too.
I've already planned on that.
I know because listen,
they're going to be in the championship game.
It is, and usually it's a morning game too. The Big 12 likes to kick off a little bit earlier. And, man, it's just, like I said, extra football, local teams here. It affects all of us because we're able to watch this thing. And, of course, you can hear it right here in the legacy home of BYU.
We love college football. Anyway, you just never know what's going to happen.
I like it more than the NFL. Even though the NFL is really fun, really talented, college football is king, man.
All right. Thank you,
Good
Alex.
to see you, Maria.
KSL Sports, Alex Curie joining me. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
The Rescue Mission of Salt Lake is one of the places offering a Thanksgiving meal to the homeless this holiday season. Executive Director Chris Crosswhite says it's an annual tradition that makes a big difference in the lives of those in need.
Every year, the Rescue Mission of Salt Lake hosts our annual Thanksgiving banquet to our homeless friends. It is an absolutely incredible event. Part of our goal is to help our homeless friends recognize that even in the midst of the difficulties of their life, that they too have things to be thankful for. And that hope and that thankfulness, as well as a very nutritious, delicious meal, can be the seeds of a changed life because they recognize that there is gratitude in their life and they can build goals.
Tell us about the mission of the Rescue Mission.
Yeah, the mission of the Rescue Mission is to restore broken lives in the name of Jesus Christ. And really that governs everything we do, from providing daily meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, to emergency shelter, to our day room, to our life transformation programs, which is the heart of the mission, to have people join those programs so we can bring comprehensive change to their life and then help them address the issues that cause their homelessness, help them find jobs, their own apartment, so they are a self-sufficient contributing member of our society.
Let's talk for a minute about the myths that surround the homeless. Let's dispel a few of those.
So one of the myths around the homeless, especially the homeless that are staying at the Rescue Mission, is that they're unemployed, that they just hang out on the streets all day long. And right now, today, 75% of the men and women who are staying in emergency shelter, not our life transformation programs, but emergency shelter, they're employed and they're working their way out of homelessness.
Who are the homeless? I know there are so many myths that surround this question.
Yeah, many people think that the homeless are not Utahns, but approximately 80% of the homeless people in Utah are from Utah, or they moved here perhaps years ago and their life difficulty happened while they were already a Utah resident. So most of the homeless in Utah are from Utah. Occasionally, our homeless friends will relocate, and we'll call it a geographical change, because they're fleeing a life situation on the streets in another city or with their family, and they need to completely remove themselves out of that situation to be able to help themselves.
A lot of people don't have a clear understanding of where you get your money to help folks, so let's clear up that myth.
Yeah. The Rescue Mission is 100% privately funded as a faith-based organization. We don't receive any money from any governmental source. All of our money is donated by the public, and we need people's help, honestly. It costs us a little over $1 to provide a meal. It costs us $10 to provide a night of shelter. And without our local community's help, we would not be able to keep our doors open 24/7.
What would you say is the thing that makes the Rescue Mission different from other homeless service providers?
Yeah, what makes us different is our primary focus on life change. Many of the government-funded models, their primary focus is to have a homeless person obtain a government subsidy that is often a permanent government subsidy, and then enter into subsidized housing where there really isn't life change in that individual. where the rescue mission is focused on comprehensive life change so the person can address the cause of their homelessness in their life, that they can get a job, and they can be a self-sustained member of our community instead of on a permanent subsidy.
When we spoke in the last couple of weeks, you told us about the extreme need right now. I'm wondering how people can find out how they can either help with the Thanksgiving meal or how they can help you with this extreme need that you're seeing.
Thank you so much for that. The best way to help right now is honestly we're in need of cash donations to be able to pay for our Thanksgiving meal, as well as...
We do have some breaking news here on KSL News Radio. We are now going to a news conference out of the nation's capital about the 2 National Guardsmen that were shot earlier today.
Federal and state and local law enforcement agencies to bring bear all of our resources to make sure we find the perpetrators responsible for this heinous act. And make no mistake, they will be brought to justice. Since this is an assault on a federal law enforcement officer, this will be treated at the federal level as an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. The FBI will lead out on that mission with our interagency partners, to include the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service, ATF, DEA, and we're thankful for the mayor's assistance in this matter, the Metropolitan Police Department and their skills in investigating homicides and gun shootings in this city is exceptional. We will work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House. We will shortchange the American public with no resources to make sure we find and safeguard our nation's capital right here in Washington, D.C., and bring anyone responsible for this heinous act of violence to justice. I would lastly like to add to the American public and the world, please send your prayers to those brave warriors who are in critical condition and their families. They are here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made. I will now turn it over to Chief Carroll of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you.
That is FBI Director Kash Patel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm the Executive Assistant Chief here at the Metropolitan Police Department. At approximately 2:15 this afternoon, members of the D.C. National Guard were on high visibility patrols in the area of 17th and I Street Northwest when a suspect came around the corner, raised his arm with a firearm, and discharged it at the National Guard members. The National Guard members, there were other members that were in the area. They were able to, after some back and forth, able to subdue the individual and bring them into custody. Within moments, members of law enforcement in the area were also able to assist and bring that individual into custody. At this time, as the director mentioned, the National Guard members are being treated at a local hospital. DC Fire and EMS responded to the scene to provide first aid for those individuals and transport them to a local hospital. The suspect in this case was also transported for treatment at a local hospital. Madam Mayor?
Thank you. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I, too, want to send my thoughts and prayers to the families of the guardsmen and to the guardsmen who are in critical condition in a local hospital. I am joined by members and leadership from the D.C. National Guard, from the West Virginia National Guard, United States Secret Service, Deputy Mayor Pia, Fire Chief Donnelly, and Metro's General Manager Randy Clark. And we join with the FBI Director in ensuring that MPD investigates, the U.S. Attorney prosecutes this case to the fullest extent of the law. I've had the opportunity to brief U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was speaking to the president when I called, as well as the United States Attorney Pirro, who assured me that this case will have her office's complete attention.
Mayor, was there any other suspect?
Chief.
Sure. So no, at this time there was no indication that there was any other suspect. The one suspect that was involved in this incident, they were shot during the interaction and they were transported to the hospital for treatment.
Mayor, does this validate the need for the National Guard here in D.C.?
What we know, Andrea, is that this is a targeted shooting. One individual who appeared to target these guardsmen, that individual has been taken into custody.
Mayor, can you tell us any more details on the condition of the two National Guardsmen and whether or not anyone else was injured? And a quick question follow-up for the FBI director. You said that we'll make sure we find the perpetrators for this act. So just to clarify, the person believed to be responsible is in custody and there are no other suspects.
Sure, so I can start out. Again, Chief Carroll from MPD. So both of the individuals, the guard members, they are in critical condition in a local hospital at this time being treated. At this point, we have no other suspects. We have reviewed video from the area. It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Have you got any sense of motive?
No, at this time, obviously, we're very in the preliminary stages of investigation. There's a lot of things, a lot of agents that are here from various federal agencies, law enforcement agencies. We have the full power of the FBI and our federal partners here in the task force. So we're looking at all those different aspects, but we don't have any motive. The National Guardsmen that were shot, I'm told they were armed.
Did they get off shots?
At this time, that's part of the preliminary investigation.
Can you explain how the suspect was apprehended?
Sure. So how the suspect was apprehended, as I said, the individual, the suspect came around the corner. He immediately started firing a firearm at the two National Guard members. So at that time, there were other National Guard members that were in the area. They heard the gunfire. They actually were able to intervene and to kind of hold down the suspect after he had been shot on the ground until law enforcement got there within moments.
And he was shot by a National Guardsman?
At this point, we're still investigating exactly who shot that individual. It's not clear at this time.
Chief, do you know what kind of weapon was used?
We don't know what kind of weapon. There was DC police. It happened right in front of the Metro, although there is no indication that the perpetrator was on the Metro. So there's Metro Transit Police in the area, and obviously being on 17th Street by the White House, Uniform Division Secret Service were in the immediate area as well.
What kind of weapon the alleged perpetrator used?
We do not know at this time. It's still in investigation.
How many shots were fired?
We're going to be able to take a couple more.
Has been able to question the suspect, or is his condition so severe that you haven't been able to have a conversation?
Sure. Again, so as I said, we're very preliminary in the investigation, so we're looking to all aspects of who the individual is, his connections. At this time, he's still in the hospital receiving treatment.
And I would just like, hang on, I would just like to add, the reason that this suspect is in custody is because of the bravery of the men and women of the National Guard who responded due to their extensive training to secure American lives today. There was not any further injury and any further shootings. We should highlight the fact that the men and women of law enforcement, the interagency, the Department of War, and the National Guard executed their training with great precision today and prevented an even greater tragedy from befalling us. These National Guardsmen are heroes, and we must pray for their safety and their speedy recovery. And as the chief said, we are in the preliminary stages of this investigation. We will run down every single lead, every piece of evidence. This is the power of the U.S. government at its best at the state, local, and federal level. That is why this interagency group is standing behind us to assure America and the world that we will continue to keep D.C. safe. And thankfully, we have Metropolitan Police Department, the National Guardsmen, and federal agents, and the Department of Justice and the Attorney General willing to prosecute the mission to keep Americans safe. And President Trump has rightly stated that this heinous act will be investigated, and he has thanked the National Guardsmen and women and the men and women of law enforcement.
Thank you. Families been notified?
Did the suspect say anything at the time?
Why did the West Virginia governor say that they've been
Chief, was anyone else shot besides the two?
Have the families been notified?
General, what about the unconstitutional deployment of troops? It's been ruled unconstitutional. Why are there 500 more troops? Look them all together.
And you've been listening to a news conference out of the nation's capital where two National Guardsmen were shot earlier this afternoon. There was some misinformation that went out, and we'd like to clarify that. These National Guardsmen are in critical condition, but about half an hour ago, the governor of West Virginia said the National Guardsmen were from West Virginia, and he tweeted that they had died. They are not dead. We have just learned that they are in critical condition, and we've also learned that police did shoot the suspect as well, and that person is in the hospital in custody. And thank you for joining us today for Midday. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News coming up next.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors. but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets. If you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29, but you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900.
Received an update from police in D.C. They say this was a targeted attack against the guardsmen.
Members of the D.C.